Pastor Ayodeji Kurumi is an investment banker and partner at Enzo Krypton and Company, a management consulting firm that offers financial advisory and human capital services in Nigeria and across the globe. In addition to advising custodians of offshore capital seeking for investment opportunities across Africa, Enzo Krypton and Company also focuses on helping business leaders solve difficult problems, achieve sustainable growth, and continually create marketable value in a rapidly changing business environment. A graduate of Obafemi Awolowo University, Ayodeji Kurumi possesses industry experience as a shared services specialist in financial technology products and designing of special purpose platforms for consummation of electronic transactions and inter-party settlements. He conceptualized and managed the development of the first real-time settlement system for electronic transactions initiated by microfinance clients on third-party channels in Africa. He has also led financial advisory teams and helped close over $200 million in fundraising and mergers and acquisition deals for SMEs and private equity. His wife, Pastor Debola Deji Kurumi, is a transformational catalyst and the founder of Immerse Coaching Company, a personal transformation coaching practice. She is also the executive director at Ideation Hub Africa, a public policy and impact advisory firm, and the president at Kingdom Women Global Alliance and the Firebrand Movement, both of which are faith-based organizations. She is a Thomas International Certified Workplace Personality Profile Analyst, Certified Job Evaluation Analyst, and an experienced corporate trainer. She is also a certified visionary leadership coach by the Ole Konovalov Global Coaching Certification. Debola Deji Kurumi has received several recognitions and awards for her outstanding leadership impact. In 2014, she was awarded New Leader for Tomorrow in the Order of Business, Government and Parliaments at the Crans Montana Forum in Geneva. In 2018, she was selected by the U.S. government as one of Africa's most promising young leaders. In 2019, she was listed as one of 100 most inspiring Nigerian women and announced as Nigeria's leading coach at the 2021 Motherland Awards. She also served twice as a mentor jury of the Queen's Young Leader Awards, a UK government fellowship that honors exceptional young leaders in the Commonwealth. DDK is the author of 20 books, including the classic titled Firebrand. PDK and DDK are both resident pastors at the Baptizing Church Lekki, and they are blessed with beautiful children. Ladies and gentlemen, meet our first couple on the show, PDK and DDK.
Okay, key trends, forces, issues that I see today concerning marriage. Let me make an attempt at 5 of them very quickly. Number 1 is the enormous degree of pressure that media and the framing, the stories that are being framed through media, the impact is having on marriages and how even single people view marriage. It's not new, but it has become exacerbated or really expanded because of the power of new media. And there's so many stories being told concerning love, concerning marriages, relationships, sacrifices, decision-making, etc., that are radically impacting on how people are making decisions within their own marriages. There's a greater degree of dissatisfaction. I can tell, especially from the side of the women, because they're the ones sitting in the room with me more. There's a greater degree of dissatisfaction that women are feeling because they are consuming significant degrees of stories, told by the media concerning what romance looks like, what the baby girl life looks like, how a man should love a woman, and how we should show that he loves her, and all of that. And there's so many dissatisfied people in their marriages who are losing the core values for what makes a marriage thrive according to God's design. So there's this significant shift from God's design to society's design. And it's something that we really want to pay attention to. There is that from the movies, on Netflix and the ones on Nigerian, media, all of that, social media, books read, novels, etc. And yeah, we obviously have to begin to really ask again, what is God's plan for marriage? And stick to his own ideologies and design. The second would be the very serious issue of driven husbands and wives who are pursuing their careers, building their businesses, and accomplishing their goals in a way that could negatively impact on that relationship as well as on their ability to even parent their children excellently. Again, this is an age-long situation, but it's obviously exacerbated in our time. So we find that sometimes for economic reasons, women who used to be like more of the homemakers now have to be a lot more active contributors to the running of the home and the accomplishment of goals, within the family system, in a way that now weakens the ability of that family unit to invest in growing together and raising their children, for God and for the future that they desire. So there is that. Parents have less and less time with their children. Spouses have less and lesser time with themselves, and there's this growing apart that we sort of have to intentionally pay attention to, so that one doesn't lose the good that has been handed to them. The third is what careers are creating and what migrations are creating for husbands and wives. We now have this growing situation of the Nigeria-Canada migration rush, the UK, Nigeria-UK etc., where you would have the husband maybe in Nigeria and he's relocated his family abroad, or you'd have maybe the wife and the children because her career has taken her to a different part of the world. We've even always had the one where the husband works in Lagos during the week and returns to Shobo over the weekend, right? And it's putting greater degree of pressure on the family unit and on the marriage relationship, to the point that they are now, civil partners and civil flatmates in marriage relationships without really enjoying the intimacy, the bliss, the friendship, the warmth, the joy that the marriage relationship is designed to create. And obviously, what that also means is parenting becomes almost like a single parenting situation where there is the missed effect of either the father or the mother. And in the design of God, there is this power that comes with ideally father and mother present as co-parents, and partners, in instilling the right values and offering the children a leverage and an advantage for their future. The fourth will be this, how do I describe it? Because there are more opportunities for the future forward female, there are many women now who have spent maybe the last 5 years really investing in their personal growth, in their professional advancement, mastering their careers and building, brilliant businesses. And by the time they wake up, they're maybe in their mid-30s, right? And I now hear, I don't know about it experientially, but I counsel so many women who now say that it's tough to find husbands or to find suitors who are genuine and want them for who they are beyond what they built. So I see this growing trend of older single women, not older, how do I say that in a respectful way, but single women who are not as young, right, who are a bit advanced in years and who are faced with this unsettling decision about, do I go for this person who I know has ulterior motives, right? Or do I go for this person who is genuine and sincere but has no money? So, so there are all those, conversations often coming through again and again. The fifth trend that I would love to speak to is the stigma that's still associated with mental health issues. It will become important for men and women to be able to recognize the signs of mental illness, the signs of emotional strain, the signs of advanced childhood trauma, mental health issues generally, and that wide spectrum from clinical to non-clinical dimensions, because there are, it almost feels like a taboo many times, right? But I do know of many women who are dealing with spouses who are mentally ill, who are severely depressed, who have clinical dimensions of trauma, and are lashing out at them, sometimes to the point of physical violence, just because there are these unresolved and untreated, issues with their mental health. And then we've got cases of husbands who get beaten, who get hit, by metal and all. Yeah, cases of violence from women who sometimes are dealing with post-traumatic disorder of having children. I feel like if a couple find themselves in that situation, we've got to destigmatize mental health challenges so that they can get help and take that issue out of the way, and then return to enjoying their relationship and building this together.
What are uterine fibroids? My brain says, do this, and they go right ahead and they do it. They are not cancerous. We have two types of muscles. These muscles are not under voluntary control. Fibroids generally, they are benign tumors. That is, they are not cancerous. The brain finds a way to control them to do what they have to do, but you can't mentally, consciously control them. When these muscles now develop and grow more than they should, then we say that person has a leiomyoma. That's a fibroid. Don't mind that big English. It's just what we call uterine fibroid.
Why did I marry Deji? First of all, let me say from this point that I'm in now, been with him maybe 12 plus years in love and about 10 years this year married. From this point that I stand, yeah, this was a great decision. I'm glad that I can say that, because I do remember, to be honest, that one of the things that I would pray about and think about whenever I was thinking about the marital relationship was, I don't just want it to be the right decision now. I want to be able to look back 3 years, 5 years, 10 years, 20 years, and still be like, thank God that this was the choice that I made. And I was sharing that with my mom, because I used to say it with her. When she'd be like, Annie, you are okay now? And I would be like, no, it's not just this moment. It's really about, would it be a great decision 10 years time? And that's why I wanted to go with God, and have conviction beyond conviction, because he's the one who sees into that future. And I was saying to her, shortly after my husband's birthday, that, Mom, you know that thing I used to say, it's almost 10 years, and looking back, I'm feeling what I hoped that I would feel, and and I'm thankful for that. So it's still a great decision. I'm thankful for that. I truly, truly thank God, and I thank him too. But why did I marry him? Number one, God said so. I have no apologies about being on the side of God going with you into that decision. I know people say that, look, this is a choice you've got to make for yourself. What works for you to see? I am thankful that I listened to God. I leaned into who He chose for me, and I said yes to who He chose for me, because saying yes to Him meant saying yes to God at the time. So yes, I chose Him because God said so. I chose Him secondly because He fits the core operating system of my life. The operating system of my life is peace. I don't want stress. I don't want emotional stress. I don't want mental stress. I don't want physical stress. I thrive when I'm at peace. I don't want people that bicker. I remember that I had people who had asked me out, and the way they just bicker at you, even from that time of just toasting, you're already like, no, I called you 7 times, you didn't pick your call. Where are you? You said no, it just can't work for me. It can't. So even from being his friend, and just testing the waters and getting a sense of his person, I was like, yeah, this can work for me. He's quick to forgive. He's a man of peace. He's quick to apologize. He's, for the most part, not all the time. Sometimes I think he should apologize more than he does. But yeah, he's a man of peace. He's not out to witch hunt you, to stress you. You know, so that on first reading of grace has completely defined part of my marriage. I love to come home to my husband. My heart is not beating. I don't have fears. I'm not concerned I'll be criticized. The third big reason why I'm married him is because from the courtship, he already started to keep his word. You know, if my husband makes a commitment, he's going to be there. He's going to do it. You see. And I remember a day that he drove through a flood to come to see me. You know, I remember being so terrified that day because the flood in Lagos was something else. But he had said, "I'm going to come see you tomorrow. I will be there." And he still lived that way. He's a man of integrity, keeps his word. Those are things that matter to me. In summary, how would I put it? Do not just go for what makes you happy and what makes your emotions bubble up and color up. Go for the values that undergird the kind of life you prefer to live, and go for the factors that will impact positively on being able to be the person that God wants you to be and fulfill the calling that is over your life.
All right. I mean, so many accolades coming from DDK. So the first thing for me is, and I say this with all sincerity of heart, I actually had a picture of marrying a very great and ambitious woman. That was already there by default. I set out to I mean the vision I had of a partner was the vision of someone who was awesomely great, awesomely competent, you know. That was the picture. And I remember, you know, there was a season of my life. I mean, on campus, I say this all the time. I keep praying about my future wife. You know, I had no intention to to date anybody. I had no intention to go after anybody, but I was just praying for that would-be person. You know, so there were prayers that had gone ahead, and the vision was for me. And again, you know, when I'm talking like this, my mind is going back to, okay, why? What was the motivation, right? But I did have a desire that, you know, whoever I was going to get engaged with and get married to was going to be a stunner by all standards. Not just beautiful and awesome, but also someone who was going to impact a generation in a very big way. So yeah, you know, like you said, I had a vision, you know, and for all intents and purposes, I mean, DDK keeps smashing everything, you know. It's almost unbelievable, right? She keeps smashing everything. And substitute deep spirituality and maturity, you know, for someone being out there and thinking, okay, maybe just Maya is more spiritual than our husband, and all of that. And I remember having to school her that, you know what it takes, you know, for instance, for that man to provide or husband, you know, this particular lady, you know, and you know, and I remember just sharing a few things with her that really helped and shaped her perspective. So it's my joy. I mean, it's I'm fully, absolutely comfortable, you know. Yeah. So for me, it's a learning journey to discern. You know, sometimes because the way I'm wired, it's possible that I'm just going about everything like it's normal, and perhaps, my wife is not too happy about a certain thing. So over time, I've grown to understand and to know, okay, when there may be some unresolved, issues that, is probably bothering her. And so I get into the mood of, you know, trying to, so a lot of times it's more, deliberate engagement. And then we talk through it, and, and, talking through it ensures that we also are able to make decisions to ensure that, such also doesn't arise in the future. And if you truly love each other, it's easy for you to resolve conflicts and also make the required sacrifices and adjustments, which often than not is actually not difficult. At the end of the day, I think for us it's not it's not a big deal. It's not too big a deal.
Yeah.
It's not too serious a hurdle, to cross. I know that there are certain things couples will face that if one party is going to back down, it's going to be a huge hurdle, huge sacrifice, and what have you. But
No.
we've never had any such, or in our relationship. So yeah. Okay. I just have to speak generically because it's very specific. But the advice is understand the power and advantage of youth. There are massive opportunities that exist today that never existed when we were undergraduates. We didn't have access to internet, was limited. There are so many things you can do as an undergraduate. It's important for you to focus, understand that there are opportunities out there for you as an undergraduate. There are skills and competencies that you can acquire as an undergraduate, even while being in school, that is of tremendous commercial value. May not be connected to what you are studying in school. I'm sure that undergraduates today, just as an example, who are programming for startups outside of the country and are being paid in thousands of dollars monthly. There are skills, digital skills. We are entering into a digital age. Get yourself focused. Never the end of the world. Whatever you're facing, whatever challenge it is today, whatever is confusing you, know that it will come to pass. It's one of the greatest lessons I've learned, and that's the fact that things will always come to pass. And you would wonder, what was I so stressed
about?
If you stay focused on the future.
Okay, so the conversation around the woman is going to grow in the days ahead, because the next 3 to 5 years from now, into the next 3 to 5 years, there'll be the rise of God's daughters into prominence, into global opportunities, into platforms to express their God-given calling and to manifest their vision. And so if I merge that with the question around how does the woman manage the home front, be present while pursuing her goals, and how does she escape, domestic violence, and it's a lot of things can be said, but to keep it generic, let me speak to three big things. Number one is for the woman today to set herself in the context of exponential communities. If you are going to make the journey out of where you are into where you want to be, whether where you are is excellent and you just want to take things to the next level, or you are in discomfort, you feel stuck, you're with the wrong people, and you feel like things are stacked against you, set yourself in the context of exponential communities. You go become parts of, or become a part of power circles. Use your church, your local assembly, if the values and the principles taught there align with the future you want to really step into and create. So your communities with family, communities in your local assembly, professional bodies, networks, associations, online communities, coaching groups, whatever. Just move yourself intentionally into it. And how do you define an exponential community? It's a community where there are people whose current reality is your preferred future. You've got to go find them. And mediocrity. So make that shift and transition into exponential communities. Thank God for the power of technology. Even if you feel like you live so far away and you've moved into a new country, those are the issues women raise to me. I'm now in Canada, I don't have friends. I've moved to Finland, Australia, I don't know who to speak to. Leverage the power of technology, right? We've got this global coaching community that has almost 70,000 people at Immerse Coaching Company in how many countries? 99 countries of the world. So imagine how people are plugging in by technology, assigned coaches, placed in sports, growing and really producing fruit with their lives. And that can be any woman at all. That's the first thing. The second is for those who are not married, become responsible about that decision. There are too many emotional decisions women are making concerning who they're giving their hearts to and who they're spending their time with, right? And then when it all crashes down, you don't want to become another statistic. So if you're single, please pay attention to the fact that the person you marry or have children for, because people are having children without getting married and all of that, those things will radically impact on your opportunities, the access you have, and the future outcomes you're building. So really become responsible. If you're already married and you're in a difficult place with the person that you're married to, your strategy cannot be verbal violence, right? If you're already in a difficult place, don't be the trigger for violence. You are the greatest asset that you have, and that's what you're going to be leveraging in the days to come. So get the education, the empowerment, the schooling that sharpens your gifts and helps you take that gift, earn value as you create value as well.